Eureka.
We make plays every day.
Yeah.
We make plays every day. We make
You know what I'm saying?
plays every day. We make 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 plays every day.
Yeah. Hey. Welcome to the Real Fantasy Playmakers. I am your host, Bogard Scott Free. And today, we're bringing back the homie, Law. Man, it's great to have him back. He actually is a peer of mine in the industry. I have met him right before the world went to shit. You know what I'm saying? It's great to bring him back on. You know, and with no further delay, my man, the host of The Catch, the homie, Law. What's happening, Law?
What's going on, Bogart, man? Thank you for having me back on, man. And you said it yourself. Everything was straight fire. The content was going out extremely steady, and the world went to shit. I couldn't have said it any better myself.
You feel me? Okay, well, shit. You know, this is a fantasy show, but we also talk sports in general. And my man Law, you know, he's a diehard Cowboys fan. You know what I'm saying? We're going to go ahead and we're actually just going to have some solid discussions about the Cowboys and their, you know, the situation in Big D. And, we're going to touch on some current news. You know what I'm saying? But before we get to all that, we're going to handle some quick housekeeping. So go ahead, follow us at the GMM Network on IG. Also, follow us at the GMM Network on Twitter. And you can go ahead and follow me at Bogard Scott Free World on IG as well. And definitely be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? If you haven't already. You know what I'm saying? That's the GMM Network on YouTube. You feel me? Also, we're available on all streaming platforms now. You know what I'm saying? I've only uploaded one episode so far, but I'm about to hit them with, like, since I uploaded that first episode onto the Anchor, you know what I mean? Man, I must have did like 8 episodes since then, so we're about to bombard this thing, you know what I mean? So be on the lookout for that, Playmakers. Also, want to shout out to the crew, the Rum Boys. You know what I mean? Check us out at rumboys.com. That's where you're going to find all that swaggy ass merch we got. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and order something. You know what I mean? Support the cause. Also, check out all our latest and greatest articles from our innovative sports writers. You know what I'm saying? They putting in that hard work. Go check them out. You know what I mean? They got that real ism that you definitely need to be locked into. Also want to shout out the Rum Boys official sponsor, Monkey Knife Fight. That's monkeyknifefight.com. Go ahead, use promo code RUMBOYS, and we'll match your first deposit all the way up to $50. That's RUMBOYZ, all capitals, promo code RUMBOYS, and with your first deposit, we'll match it all the way up to $50. So I suggest putting that $50 to get that 100. Don't fuck around, put $7 and only get $14 to play with. We got DFS coming back, sports is coming back. I mean, I know we're actually going to touch on this in a little bit. You know what I'm saying? That, you know what I mean? Like, because, you know, we're still out here fighting that invisible enemy, the COVID, that's steady trying to shut down all sports. But you know what? We're speaking into existence. Sports are coming back. DFS, Daily Fantasy Sports action is coming back. And you're definitely going to want to get in on the action. Go to monkeyknifefight.com. Use promo code RUMBOYS. And we'll match your first deposit all the way up to $50. And big shout out to our sponsor, Milk and Honey TX, for all your CBD wellness and all your CBD goodness. Visit milkandhoneytx.com. Hey, check it out. Law, let them know where they can find you.
Man, you can follow me on Instagram at @thecatch_law. That's @thecatch_law. I've also got a YouTube channel that I'm pretty proud of. We, built it from the ground up. Me and my guy TC started off primarily with fantasy football stuff, and then dive into a whole lot of sports talk, weekly news, and all that. My YouTube is going to be my first and last name. That's Lawrence Jaramillo. It's pretty tough. So start off with following me on Instagram, and that'll take you to my YouTube because that's a little tough to spell if you're unclear of how.
I remember the first time I brought you on. I was like, hold on, you're gonna have to teach me how to say this thing. And listen, like I said on the last show, I am perfectly comfortable to say that is a very sexy name right there. Jaramillo. Like bitches want that name attached to them. I'm telling you.
Oh, no doubt. No,
you know what I'm saying, Lo? I don't blame him. Yeah, man. Well, shit, man. Let's get right into it, man. First off, you know, man, how you doing, man? How you been?
Everything has been good, man. Everything has been really good. Like you said, it's definitely been a while since we caught up. Excited to get back on the grind. Excited for sports to come back, and excited, most importantly, to jump into this content creation and just keep it pumping out, man. Staying steady. Really can't complain. I'm still working and everything. I didn't lose my job or anything. So,
well, I made a phone call. You know what I mean?
I got you, bro.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, listen, the law, you gotta keep him on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no doubt. So stayed steady, man. Extremely blessed. And like I said, man, just really excited to get back into sports and just ready for everything to go back to normal, man. What about you?
Man, I'm you know what I'm saying? I'll tell you this much. You know, when remember, we were just talking about this off air. Check this out, Playmakers. Like, when I got him on the podcast, you know, COVID obviously was already running rampant, but goddamn quarantine shutdown was not in, like, we did not see this thing coming. And it was literally like the week, right? Like maybe a few days, I want to say, after.
Oh, for sure.
Like,
for sure.
I think I got you on like on a Wednesday, and then that Friday, by that Thursday, the very next day, they announced in California that they were going to shut things down, right? Like they were enforcing the stay in place, the SIP, SIP. And I literally took that literal. I was like, oh, they want us to sip? So I just been drinking. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
You feel me? Tito's give me money. You know what I mean? That's okay. I
got you. Speaking of that, what's the go-to beverage? You definitely straight vodka. I mean, if you had to choose.
I love Patron. Like, I love tequila, but like me and my girl for a while we were doing a ketogenic diet. Keto. And And Tito's. I was already a fan of Tito's. Like, first of all, I've done a keto diet. I've done it like since like 2016, and I would go on and off. You know what I mean? And and so whenever I was on keto, I would definitely be drinking Tito's. Tito's, it's a vodka that originates from Texas, I think. I want to say.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm familiar with Tito's. Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, you're a Texas boy. You know what I'm saying? So and Tito's. I mean, before this, my favorite vodka was Kettle One. You know what I mean? Because I'm the type of dude, dog. When I would be at the bar, or I'm in the club, we'll always because I always had this saying because I grew up drinking Hennessy or just cognac. I grew up drinking brown shit, and you know what I'm saying? Like that, that brown shit makes me want to do some thug shit. You know what I mean? You feel me? Like you know what I'm saying? I grew up on, Tupac was, heavily, even way after his death, still influenced us. Like we drank Hennessy, and then I'm from the Bay Area. Another rap legend that died, unfortunately, from street violence. His name was Mac Dre, and he would drink privileged Hennessy. So this is that good Hennessy. You know what I mean? So every so often, you know what I mean? When I'm with the homies, they still like to drink Priv. Is what we would call it, saying the privileged Hennessy. But bro, anybody knows when they come to me, if it's my party, and you know what I'm saying, I don't even need to ask nobody. People just show up with bottles of Patron or bottles of Tito's. You know what I mean? They just or whenever we be at the bar, at the club, my go-to, say if we didn't have bottle service, right? Because even if we did have bottle service, it'd be a big old bottle of Trony. And then a bottle of whatever kind of vodka. The ladies, they love that Ciroc bullshit. I don't like that shit. I really feel that anything that's called premium shouldn't be flavored. You know what I mean? I like Ciroc if it's the plain kind, but you just never find it though. If it's always the vanilla or the goddamn fucking citrus or just it's just I can't do it. I'm old school and obviously I'm not on keto right now. But you know what I'm saying, so I'm drinking beers and shit because that's the one thing too. Like when I'm on keto, I'm almost never drinking beers. You know what I mean? Because obviously the sugar. Yeah, but but when I'm in the club, bro, I'll get a shot of. If I didn't get bottle service, I'll get a shot of Patron, and then I'd have a goddamn a Kettle One and cran or a Tito's and cranberry. Cause I just feel like I'd rather be peeing all the time than being fucked up. And like, cranberry kind of just, I don't know, maybe this is the way my body's adjusted to those. And then what's funny? So one time my boy, he goes, so you want me to order you another Cosmopolitan? And I'm like, I don't drink that shit. And he's like, what do you think? He's like, what do you think vodka and cranberry is? And I was like, what? And there was a moment where I was like, oh shit, I never realized that. But it's like, I'm not
get my shit together. Right?
Yeah, but I'm not getting into the little.
So California, I mean, you guys from California, y'all definitely sip beer too, right? Because
oh yeah, like a lot. My boys, they're all on. Especially in the last like 5 to 6 years, the craft beers are like what the IPAs. They're hella on these joints, and like I'll have them, but like I don't know. I'm like a loyal guy, so like. I always drank Bud Light, and because I'm a longevity drinker, I'm like even right now, I have poured up a glass of vodka, and drinking it straight, but then and I'm actually just using the beer as a chase. You know what I mean? And it's
no doubt.
Yeah, and that's just how I get down. Like I've just always been that type to, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. And then so if I'll drink some IPAs though, man. What about you? What's your go-to?
Man, I'm really strictly a beer drinker. Sometimes I kind of get the urge, especially like. I'm just going to speak just kind of, for example, we're going out of town. I get tired of drinking beer Friday, wake up Saturday, don't want to have no beer. I'll mess around with some vodka, give me a little Chilton action. I don't know if you know what that is, but give me a little Chilton, a little Jack and Coke, something a little easy. By the end of the night, I'm drinking beer again. But I'm not much for the IPAs or anything like that. Don't get me wrong. I like
I'll drink it if it's there and my boys got it, and I won't be rude, but to be honest with you, I can't stand them, bro. Like,
no, I mean, I'd rather just stick with like a Bud Light or a Michelob Ultra. I mean, like just something to, I don't need no help. Like that's the thing is like, that's why I try to stay away from vodka and whiskeys and stuff like that because Michelob gets me where I need. Yeah, Michelob gets me where I need to be. I don't need no help. I don't need a fast forward button. I just want to be able to coast all night.
I like the way you put that. Yeah, like I said, I drink light beers because I'm a longevity drinker. Like I'm finna be drinking all day or all night, and like so like and plus I'm a liquor drinker, so it's like you know what I mean. I want a beer that's like I can't do like I get fucked up when I'm drinking IPAs with liquor. Like I can't do that. Like yeah, man. But yeah, so
that's funny.
So before we get into some of these topics that we got, man, so tell me how you've been kind of. I know you said you've been working throughout quarantine, right? But like, so how have you been handling the quarantine? Because I know. Go ahead.
Where I'm from, it hasn't been real bad. I mean, they kind of, they shut the city down a little bit, but we were, fortunate enough to be able to kind of get out and do the things that we needed to do, grocery shopping and all that good stuff.
Or as I like to call it in the apocalypse, I call it supply runs.
Yes, exactly right, exactly right. But fortunately, nothing really changed. I mean, I was still waking up every day and going to work. So was my girl. Nothing really changed too much. You know what I mean? Except for the push for
the gloves and the masks and shit.
The gloves and the masks and the Germex and the Clorox and the this, that, and the other. I mean, besides all that, man, everything was pretty much cool. The social distancing. Here from Texas, I mean, we dab each other up, whether it's shaking hands, whether it's the clap with the little, grip at the end or whatever. Snap your finger at the, all that stuff. So that was probably the hardest habit for me to break. Seeing all my friends, seeing my cousins, I
heard the fuck out of that, man.
You know what I'm saying? So that was definitely the hardest thing for me, habit-wise, that I had to break. But it was just one of those things that, people were almost more scared of me. Like, they looked at me like, bro, what are you doing? You got to, stay back. And I'm like, man, chill out.
I was like, listen, bro, I'm good. I had this theory, right? And mind you, I'm no doctor, nor do I play one on TV, right? But I had this theory that, like, because I'm a motherfucker who turns up so much, like, I just, for a good amount of my life, I like to indulge. I'm having drinks, I'm smoking bud, I'm, what I'm saying, I might pop a thing or two, eat some mushrooms here and there, like regularly, what I'm saying, actually, what I mean? But it's like, I always felt like putting my immune system through the ringer all the time. I feel like it's battle tested. Like I've been conditioning for this shit. You know what I mean? Like, but it's also like, bro, my lady's a nurse. So like, I'm very aware of like, this shit like, cause there was some ignorant people that would be like, man, this shit, is it even real? And I'm like, yes, motherfucker, it's real. Like
it's definitely real.
Like this shit is not it's not a game. Like, and like, I took quarantine so fucking serious, bro. Like, obviously I was still pumping out content at a high volume, but like, and then I'll be doing live streams with the Rum Boys. And like they actually help keep my sanity because it's like every Friday we do this show called Rum Boys After Dark, and it's a drinking sports talk show. It's a debate show. There's about anywhere from 5 to 6 of us on the panel every week, and we just go through these different subject matters, and people tune in live, and it's been incredible because being live, what I'm saying, it's almost like we had an uptick in following. Because of quarantine, because people were, they had time to tune in. And like, we would just be chilling, bro. Like, and it was the closest I had to like hanging with the homies on a Friday and drinking. Cause, that was, my house was always the spot. People always would slide through and, and it was just like, just not seeing my friends or even like, we have I have an actual studio. Like I said, I'm an artist. And I work with a label, like I'm on a legit label with management. So it's like, it was just weird not getting into the studio. Like I think like in my music history, bro, like this is the longest I've never been in the studio. And I started getting back in there about, maybe about a month ago. And I've been in there like, once a week. But even then too, because we our studio's in a building with like, like it's like on the second story and it's above like restaurants and it's above like, and we share the building with like dentist offices and shit like that where it's like, people never stop going. So it's like, it was kind of, in my head, I was kind of spooked for a while. Like, man, we're going to need to decontaminate every time we have people there now. And like, and now like, and then, once we open back up, what I'm saying? Like I was talking to the boss over there, what I'm saying? I was talking to my mans who runs the whole operation. And he was like, we started, booking time again, and artists would come through, and they would have their whole fucking entourage, and it was just like, all right, fuck it, what are we gonna do? You know what I mean? Like, how rappers are. Rappers come through, they don't come through by themselves, they come through deep. I mean, I'm always by myself, or like 1 or 2 deep. You know what I mean? And
maybe two people with you tops, but
and it's usually just there's no one hanging out. It's people that's gonna work. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we're in there working. You know what I mean? I take my shit very serious. You know what I'm saying? Like especially like. The fact that music is like music's my therapy and the studio's my sanctuary. So it's like when I'm in this motherfucker, like I'm going in. You know what I mean?
I got you.
Yeah, but yeah, man. So saying let's get into it, man. You are a Cowboys fan, like I have mentioned. You know what I mean? And in the news, man, some of the latest news, man, Zeke got the Rona.
He sure did, man. He sure did. And actually, TC and I were talking about this just the other day. And I don't know if you remember the news about Dak Prescott possibly having a get-together for, I don't know if it was his birthday or just wanted to
I remember this. He was just this was right this was like in the midst. This is like in the height of quarantine,
like prime time.
And like we're like even police came. I remember police showed up to their party because it was like they were trying to enforce the social distancing and like they were like, well, we have under 10 people. But I remember seeing some footage. There was more. It seemed like if anything there was 10 ladies there. You know what I mean?
Oh
but
no doubt.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Like,
so I mean that's what we were talking about. And now I don't know how long it takes you to catch that type of stuff. I mean, but that was several months ago, so I'm not blaming it on that. But that just leads me to believe there's some carelessness going on. There's no type of precautions being.
Texas was one of the first places to fully reopen up, and like,
correct.
I was scared for Texas. Like, one of our lead editor at the Rum Boys, he's also one of the lead writers. Shout out to my man Miles. He's from South Texas, and he was like, man, I'm kind of worried that it's opening up because, I mean, if you remember, like they never really publicized this, but when China first reopened, they got hit with a second wave like crazy. So I was just kind of like weary of it. You know what I mean? And I think, so my theory is, Zeke could have got it from anywhere, just being able to go outside again.
Go into a restaurant, or anything. You know what I mean? Yeah, anything. Man. But yeah, you're definitely right. I mean, even even here where I'm from, it's not a very big town. But I mean, we reopened up, and a lot of the bars, places were packed, restaurants were packed, people ready to get out of the house, and here we are. I mean, 2 weeks off of being in what you can call quarantine. We're
or as I like to call the apocalypse.
We've got 40 new cases in a matter of 4 days, something like that. So
yeah, in my city where I'm from San Jose, California, it's like the South Bay area, and so I'm about like 40 minutes south of San Francisco. You know what I mean? But bro, like we have 1 million people in our population, and like there's like 2,000 cases in my city right now, and like bro, like that, and that's only the documented cases, like you know what I mean, like the new cases I should say, you know what I mean, like because obviously you know what I'm saying, being in the Bay Area where there's a large Asian communities everywhere, after Chinese New Year where people were flying to and fro, bro, like the numbers went crazy, you know what I mean, or even like just people visiting like places like New York and like. You know what I mean? Or even people in Seattle, like these hot spots were like, it was real serious. You know what I mean? Like, damn, like, man, it was a scary thing, man. And I think people are, even with, rest in peace, George Floyd, you know what I'm saying? Like, even with all the protests and all the riots, and it was just like, I'm watching on TV and watching on my phone, and I'm like, man, this is gonna spike the pandemic again. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, no doubt, 100%, man, 100%, and sure enough, here we are, probably right around the corner from, like what you said, the second wave. You know what I mean? I'm hoping it doesn't, shut the United States down like it did before. But I can't say I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, like I mean, I think even just moving forward, like wearing masks are just gonna be a thing. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm a young, fly, swaggy individual, so it's like. I got all kind of dope masks. You know what I mean? I got Niner masks. I got all different kind of colors to match my fits. But it was just funny because it was like I'm barely going out. You know what I mean? And like, one of my best buddies in the world, man. One of my brothers from another. He's having his third child, and so he had a gender reveal. You know what I mean? So it was probably like maybe 30 of us. You know what I mean? Just close individuals. You know what I'm saying? And like. But it was surreal, man. Not only to see my homies again, but like even just like everybody's masked up, and everybody's elbow dapping each other, and then sure enough, actually this particular weekend we were sampling the Rock's tequila. The Rock came out with a tequila called Terra.
Oh, that's right.
Terramana, right? So, and not only am I enjoying this tequila, but now it's like. I start feeling like I'm the Rock. I'm over here, getting brave. And by the time we're like a couple bottles in, motherfuckers is hugging and the masks are off. And it's like, and bro, I remember waking up the next day, like praying, like, oh man, please don't let us get the Rona. You know what I mean? Cause I'm Filipino, right? And this is kind of the funny stereotype about Filipinos is like, we work in healthcare. I mean, look, my girl's a nurse, all our homegirls are nurses. So it's like, we're at this gathering, and like everybody at one point or another is exposed to it because of their work. They work in healthcare, so it was just like it was kind of unnerving. But I mean, shit, we got to start braving the world. They can't, we can't stay locked up forever. You know what I mean? It'll drive a motherfucker crazy, but it doesn't mean that we're gonna not be safe. You know what I mean? And I will say, I did say that jokingly. We obviously were like hugging and shit, and like, but I was still like holding on to my own shot glass, like. And like I'm a big weed smoker. Motherfuckers had their own joints or their own blunts. Like nobody was sharing shit, and like it was just like, listen, you got yours, I got mine, motherfucker. You know what I mean? Yes, I know mine smells better than yours. You can't taste it though. This is mine. You know what I mean? Like, you feel me? Like, yeah, man. Okay, so man, how do you think this? Because now with Zeke having corona, right? Like, and he's a superstar in the league, right? And now there's there's people thinking that like we might not even get football now because of this shit. Like, I mean, what's your take on this, man? Like how do you think it's gonna affect the NFL in general?
It's so hard to tell, right? I mean, you see the NBA kind of right around the corner from starting their season, and it's just a situation where you get these guys down to Disney World or wherever the hell they're gonna finish these NBA playoffs, and then 20 to 25 people come up with cases. What do? You just you shut the league down again? And then, in my opinion, the NFL is way more of a contact sport than possibly any of the
you don't
baseball.
Say.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So, how can you prevent it? Do you just live with it? I mean, the news that's kind of coming out, and you might know more about this with your wife being in the health field, or
Yeah.
But a situation where, I mean, does a healthy guy like that have any issues? Will he have any issues? I mean, at this point, are we risking their lives, or are we just risking an illness that they can catch? Or
I think the scary part about it is, like, and I hate to say this, but more people need to get it in order for them to know more about it. That's the sad part.
Yeah.
Because it's like there's so much misinformation. Like, one doctor will say this, another doctor will say that, and then you got the people that they just read up on the internet, and then then they go spewing misinformation like that, like it's the they're the know all be all. Like, I mean, there's even other analysts in the industry right now that are like, when the Zeke news came out, they're like, oh well, Zeke, he'll when he gets over it, he'll be immune. And it's like, how do we fucking know that? Like, because I've also read on the contrary, where people have got over it, and then got it again, and I'm like, wait, is there obviously there's different versions of the corona of the COVID-19, like, because I mean, this is like. And then you could even go down to like the conspiracy rabbit hole, where it's like, is it designed to evolve, and like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, shit, man. It's I mean, your guess is as good as mine, for real.
Yeah, 1,000%, man. And it's just there's no telling signs. I mean, like you said, it hasn't been around long enough to know exactly what can we expect. Can you get it twice? If you get it once, I mean, like, for example, if Zeke gets it now and he gets cleared up, I mean, can he catch it again? What type of issues are we running into after the fact? It's just hard, man. It's hard to really answer that question direct, but it's just one of those things that if they really want to have a season, it's gonna be a go with the flow type of season. And I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised. I mean, I'm gonna knock on wood, but if it got bad enough that they would just shut it down, I mean, just call it.
I honestly think that, like, 100%, we shouldn't have fans. That's one.
Oh yeah,
right. And then I mean, and then also I will say, like, here's the Bogart theory, is that on average it's 52-man rosters. I feel like they're gonna bump this up to like maybe 60 to 65 on a roster, and maybe even flying around their practice squads everywhere that the team would go, because just to be be prepared to compensate for players like catching the corona. Like, okay, what I mean? Because what are you gonna do? You're gonna shut a game down? Like, big business is kind of like what's going to be pushing this, like, to stay open, right? The big business, these owners, all these TV contracts, like, they're the ones that are going to push the issue and because it is going to become like where, like, these teams' morals are going to be tested. You know what I mean? Like, are you going to be, are you going to look at these players like they're expendable because you're going to, it's a $1 billion industry, where and then so it's like, so with that said, maybe they will carry more than 52 men on a roster. Maybe this will bump up the cap a little more. I don't know. I've had different kind of theories, like, because it's like, I mean, obviously, Zeke is a superstar, and you know what I'm saying. So once, or even Von Miller got corona, and like, I haven't heard anything about him. What's his take on this? Like, is he back to normal? Like, how are you, like, okay? How about this? Well, fuck the misinformation, right? What I was doing was, like, watching testimonies of different people, whether they're comedians or athletes or celebrities or even just regular people in general. I was watching their testimonies and reading their testimonies about, how they were when they had it. And there was this one comedian, right? He said that, obviously he was in the hospital and he was knocking on death's door. And then he turns around and he gets over it, and then they're going to release him. They're discharging him from the hospital. And he said like this to the doctor. He's like, "You're not going to test me to see if I still have it?" And the doctor said, 100% you still have it. So if we test you, you're going to test positive. You're going to test positive, and we'd have to keep you here. But you're fine. You're not showing any more symptoms. Your fever's gone. Your respiratory system seems fine. You're out of here. You know what I mean? So I'm wondering, like, what's that time window like? Like, so for example, if Zeke, or any of these players, they get it and then they get over it, are they still carrying it? Are they still asymptomatic? You know what I mean? That's where the issue comes in. Because then it's like, or even this, man. Think about think about like if the NFL starts on time, you know, you have people like Bill Belichick, the evil emperor himself, who might even fuck around and be sending out people with corona to the opposing players. Just like, you know what I mean? Like sending call girls, like, you know what I mean? Just so like,
no doubt.
You know what I mean? Just you can't put it past him that he might do some wicked, crooked shit like that. And you know what I mean?
Doubt.
Get these star players all with the corona, and then the backups would have to play, and like, you know what I mean? Like this is if and when we get a season, this is gonna be the funkiest season ever. I mean, like we're gonna see a ton of injuries. We're gonna see a ton of because you know now these players hopefully they're conditioning like they would normally.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know we didn't have no OTAs, and OTAs are usually when players that now you know after the Super Bowl and the playoffs and the NFL draft, the next thing is OTAs. We didn't have that this year. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And then you know training camp looks like it's gonna start on time, but it's like I don't know, man. It's tough, man.
Yeah, it's so hard to say, man. It's so hard to say, and ultimately, I just hope it happens. I hope that.
Yeah, selfishly, as content creators, we need sports to come back, but also as human beings, you know what I'm saying? Like I honestly wouldn't be mad if we had to do what we had to do and not have sports because you know what I'm saying?
No.
This is.
Yeah, when I first decided that, this is the path that I wanted to take, this is the type of content that I wanted to create, never in my wildest dreams would I ever thought that one year I'm not going to be able to talk about what I want to talk about, and things are going to be weird, and there may not be any football or any sports in general.
For real, man. Like, bro, so, you know, I've been doing a lot of podcasts, bringing on features like yourself, and I've also featured on other podcasts. And I remember, shout out to my guys, Hot Take Cold Turkey, right? You know what I'm saying? I went on their podcast, and this was at the height of the Corona climate confinement, is what I was calling it. And this was during a time when like Korea was opened up, and they had started their baseball league. You know, their baseball season started, and I remember, dude was like, he sends me the show sheet. The stuff we're going to talk about. And it was like all about Korean baseball. And I'm like, fuck, I don't know shit about Korean baseball, but it's the only sports that is existing. So it was like, bro, we're on the goddamn podcast talking about Korean baseball. You know what I mean? Like that was like the only sports at the time. And it was just crazy. Like, dang, we're really talking about Korean baseball right now.
Wild times to say the least.
For real, man. Okay. So now that we, like I said, we're going to be talking a lot about Dallas, and I mean, a lot of things have happened since then. Like, they hired Mike McCarthy. They got rid of a clapping ass Jason Garrett. You know what I mean? Just a clapping away. You know what I mean?
We drafted CeeDee Lamb, baby.
Drafted CeeDee Lamb, who I'm really excited for. You know what I'm saying? Let's get to that. You know what I'm saying? So with Mike McCarthy there, we're going to see a lot. When I look at Mike McCarthy's history with Green Bay, a lot of 3 wide receiver sets. You know what I'm saying? Dak, coming off a career year passing, you know what I mean? Like, literally blew his old numbers away. It was incredible. Damn near threw for 5,000 yards. I mean, we might be looking at a trio, probably arguably one of the best trios in as far as receivers in the game. I mean,
right. It's just a total wide receiver core. I mean, just the total package. I'm extremely excited about it. On draft day, I'd be lying if I told you that I expected us to go CeeDee Lamb.
All right, bro, I didn't see that coming, but then it made sense though. After the fact.
All my thought was defense, safety,
exactly.
Secondary, something along those lines.
Like, I thought you guys were gonna get Xavier
McKinney. Xavier McKinney. Yeah, no doubt. So and so did I. But I'm watching the draft, and it flashes back to show the whole board, and it shows CeeDee Lamb is still on the board. And I look over at my girl, and I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if we pulled the trigger on that, and just ultimately super excited about it. I think we've definitely got one of the best wide receivers.
Yeah, arguably the best. I mean, like,
no
maybe
doubt,
he's definitely not the fastest. He's definitely not, but like as far as like just his skill set alone, like him as a route runner and like as a contested catching motherfucker, like, bro, he is dope.
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely. And then we signed, we signed Blake Jarwin, just kind of extend him. He was a guy
Yeah,
tied in for us
he
that
flashed really big. He flashed a
yeah,
lot.
and it seemed like the fans were the only people that saw that he could be any good. The fans and coach and Mike McCarthy, because Jason Garrett never tried to give him, tried to get him the ball, anymore. And it's like, dude, this guy can arguably be one of the top tight ends in the league. I'm not saying he can be the best, but he can damn
You
sure
know what,
be
bro?
above mid-tier.
You actually mentioned that on your first appearance on the Real Fantasy Playmakers.
Yeah, I did, huh?
Yeah,
I did.
because we were talking about, just it was really early in the off season, but we were definitely talking about, some guys that maybe to look out for and just keep on your radar. And he was definitely one of the guys you brought up. And
Yeah.
And honestly, bro, I remember when you brought him up, I was like, wow, I obviously he's crossed my mind before, but I was like, yo, let me write this down. You know what I mean? I'm like, I should pay attention to Blake Jarwin. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I really think, and like I said, I haven't really looked too much into I'm slacking on my fantasy side. I don't know where where the experts and all the analysis,
Well, he's basically going undrafted. He might be a week one.
Okay.
He might be one of that first waiver wire, that first week,
Gotcha.
that week one waiver wire gem, that people might be
Okay.
running to the waivers to grab. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
Wow.
yeah, but you know what though? I will say, in the Mike McCarthy system, I can't really remember a tight end that was really relevant. Maybe Jermichael Finley, I guess. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, we're gonna see. I think all three of your receivers have a floor of 1,000 yards receiving. This is not out of the realm of possibility. Anywhere from anywhere from 1,000 to 1,200 a piece, basically. You know what I mean? And then that if you gave them all 1,200 yards, that's 3,600 yards right there, and that's already Dak's floor, because Dak was
Right.
always hovering around. I mean, granted, damn near throwing for 5,000 yards. That was crazy to me. I was like, wow, you know what I mean?
Yes, sir. No, absolutely. And I didn't think about it like that, but since you break it down like that, you're right. It's not out of the realm of possibility at all.
Yeah.
And to put the icing on the cake, like Jerry Jones says, we still got Ezekiel Elliott, and he's the straw that stirs the drink, is what he calls him.
Yeah.
The straw that stirs the drink. And
I like that. I like Uncle
Yeah.
Jerry. Listen, I'm a Niner. I'm a Niner, and I'll admit, I think I told you this on the first episode that we did. When I was going through, when I reached out to you guys, a name always catches me. You pun intended. So when I seen you guys were, the catch, and I immediately, thought, damn, are you? I wonder if he's a Niner fan. And when you told me you're a Cowboy fan, I was like, wow, because one of the most famous plays in the history of the NFL is the catch.
Is the catch, yeah.
And so, you know what I mean? But you were on the other side of that catch, you know what I mean?
Right, and so that's
Cowboys.
the beat that actually, changed, because initially I went with, the Catch Sports Talk as my name on YouTube.
Yeah.
But then a buddy of mine was trying to find find my channel, and he goes, "Man, I think you're going to have to make it something more unique, because I can't find it. Everything that keeps popping up is videos of
the catch,
of the catch back in the day. So I figured I'd go ahead and just put it to my name, because
I mean, shit, you definitely have a one of one as far as your name.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so that's actually
sounds like a fucking restaurant, even it sounds like a place I would go eat.
No doubt. Oh,
let's go to Jaramillo's tonight. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. That's funny. That's the first time I've heard that. But yeah, no, absolutely. It's crazy, because I not a lot of people catch that. Really, if you're not a 49ers fan, you probably don't understand. But yes, I was on the shit end of the stick on the catch. Yes.
Yes.
A little before my time, but yes.
Right, and he ran the wrong route and everything. It was
no doubt.
Yes.
He had I've seen so many videos and NFL. What are they called? NFL films on it and all that.
Fun fact: Tom Brady was a wee tyke. He was a wee child, a young lad, as you would say, or what have you. And he was in the end zone in the crowd when he seen the catch. and because he grew up a 49er fan.
Right. Who again? I'm sorry, I missed
Tom
it.
Brady. Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. No kidding.
He grew up. He's a big 49er fan. You know what I mean? Even Aaron Rodgers, because they're from this area. You know what I mean? And bro, like, I mean, whether or not this part of the story is true or not, but Tom Brady's always told this story. Like, he was with his dad at the game, an NFC Championship. He's in the end zone, on the side where the catch was made, and he looks at his dad and he said, "This is what I want to do." You know what I mean? I mean, whether or not that part of the story was true or not, like, you know, looking at his dad saying, "Hey, this is what I want to do," and then all of a sudden obviously he's the GOAT. You know what I mean? In this era, this modern day era, like, with his heroes being Joe Montana and Steve Young growing up, like, and just to be the greatest, you know what I mean? Like, it's an incredible story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt, man. That is crazy. I did not know that, but that is wild. And for him to say, "Hey, this is what I want to do," boy, did he take that and run with it.
Yeah, for real. You ain't lying. Okay, so, you know, speaking of quarterbacks, right? Yo, man, what's up with Uncle Jerry, man? Or what's up with Dak's agent, I should say? Because, goddamn it, what in the fuck is going on? Like, I actually have a couple theories on this, but I want to hear your take. Like, what do you think is going on with Dak in this whole contract situation?
So my biggest thing is I'm super, super salty about this whole thing. My biggest thing is this should have been done last year when we could have got him for low 30s, something along those lines. But then we let him go out there and bet on himself, and you know,
and then now he earned it. And then
you don't bet on a guy who you know believes in himself. I mean, he came in his rookie year and literally showed out. And of course he's got all the confidence in the world. You know, everything that happened with his mom and all that stuff, he'll bet on himself 100 out of 100 times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for us to have the opportunity to be able to sign him for low 30s, now here we are talking about high 30s, even low 40s, with conversations of salary cap going up and things like that. The market's just going to continue to go up. I mean, at this point, it's just it's crazy, man. And I wouldn't be surprised to see the latter. I wouldn't be surprised to obviously see us sign him, but then also to see him go, man. To be completely honest, as crazy as it sounds.
Okay, you want to hear it? So now we are entering the Bogard madness, right? So
I'm in.
Check out the Bogard theory. I have a theory that perhaps Dak doesn't want to play under the franchise tag. And why?
Right.
Why do you think? Because he already got hurt at the end of the year. If he goes into a season playing under the franchise tag and he gets hurt, his market value is going to drop significantly. Now, with that said, and with all the shit that's been going on with COVID and the quarantines and stuff like that, and doctors not being able to properly examine players and this, that, and the third, etc., right? Bro, what if, so now here's the Bogart theory. What if Dak Prescott is really significantly hurt? Like maybe a partial tear in the labrum or something like that, and like where he wants this contract. And mind you, I'm basing this on, because I've seen Cam Newton do this, I've seen Andrew Luck do this, where they get the contract because they were playing hurt. They get the contract, and as soon as they sign, they go, "Hey, by the way, now that I'm signed to this long-term contract, I gotta go get this fucking procedure done, or I gotta go get this surgery." And like, what if Dak legit is like, you know, nursing an injury that we don't really know about, and obviously he's using it to his advantage that doctors can't really see him, and like maybe that's why he wants a significant contract, you know what I'm saying? Because he's like, listen, I need some insurance, you know what I mean? I need insurance that I'm gonna be around, and then also to go along with the Bogart theory is that he wanted he wants a 4-year contract. Because I think he's young enough that he wants to move on one day, or
right.
have opportunity to move on. You know what I mean?
Golly, man, you made me sick, bro.
Is that crazy though? I mean, I told you we're entering the madness. Like, is this crazy?
No, it's not.
Because I've seen players do this, like Cam Newton and Andrew Luck, who legit had the same type of injury. They had this torn labrum. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And you know they played with that shit for a while, and then like in the offseason got an extension on their contracts or signed a new big contract, and then was like, hey, what do you know? I gotta get this surgery.
Yeah,
because if he got the surgery now,
take I've heard, and that is
if he got the surgery now,
possible.
Think about it, if he got the surgery now, he would have no leverage to ask for what he's asking for. Also,
right.
and you know it is politics. It is a chess game, and you know Jerry Jones, he probably has one of those $1 million chess sets. You know what I mean? Where it's like he's all day playing chess. He knows he's with the shit. I mean, think about this. Soon as they signed Andy Dalton, that already took away massive amounts of leverage that Dak could ever have.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh.
Is that crazy? Man, it's pretty good, right?
It really isn't. But I didn't think of it from that angle. It's absolutely not crazy. I mean, we've seen it before. It's definitely not something that it could absolutely be the truth. That could absolutely happen. Like you said, I mean, he doesn't even necessarily have to be physically hurt right now. But if it's something that he's been told, hey, you need to get this cleaned up, or you need to do this, whatever.
Whether it's a procedure procedure is still a surgery. It's just, it's not like, you know what I mean? So still, either way, like if there's an underlying issue there, he's gonna keep it quiet until he signs his contract. And I think maybe the back and forth, maybe he hasn't landed on a total agreement, or else, and it's like, I feel like it has to happen soon because I don't think he's going to be foolish enough to. If there's any validity to my theory at all, he would definitely not want to play on this goddamn franchise tag with any kind of injury. And then so like, and if he holds out, if they don't give him a contract and he holds out for real, Andy Dalton obviously will start, but you know what I mean, like. It'll be another thing. It'll roll over to the next season, like, because you could have a partially torn labrum for a while and just chill. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like you're out there throwing the ball all the time. And that's another thing too. Is like that's kind of like that kind of helps supports my theory where it's like he said he's not gonna be involved in anything until he gets his contract. So we won't see him in camp throwing the ball. We haven't seen him throw the ball at all since. You know what I mean? We're seeing a lot of these videos of quarterbacks, doing workouts and getting out there throwing the ball with receivers, etc. It happened with Dak. Like, I don't know, it's crazy, man.
That is a wild take, Bogart. But I mean, you literally opened my eyes. I can't wait to tell TC what you just told me, because that is.
Bro, when I tell people
as a Cowboys fan to even think that could be definitely a possibility.
When I tell people this take. You know what I'm saying? I've got two different reactions. Like, I've told other Cowboy fans, right, this take. Even other Cowboy fans that are analysts like yourself. And, like, they either get super defensive, like, nah, fuck that, man. What the fuck are you talking about, right? Or they have the same reaction as you, like, damn, for real, dog. Like, what? It's not that crazy. But it actually fits my brand because I am crazy. Like, you know what I mean? So this is what stuff I think about at night. Like, yes, I am a diehard 49ers fan, but it's my job, to know all 32 teams so I could be as accurate as possible. And, like, even in fantasy, bro, he's going really high because of his production last year, because of all the weapons he got. And it's like, you know what? I mean, shit, if Andy Dalton would immediately shoot up the ranks if Dak says he's going to hold out, or maybe even for me, bro, like if I'm in a super flex league, super flex is where you have two quarterbacks.
Right, yes, sir.
Like, bro, I might, if I have Dak, I'm gonna somewhere along the way handcuff him with Andy Dalton for real.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, why not? You got
until I know more.
As well.
Until I know more.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Man, okay. Damn, you got me fucked up now.
My bad, Law. I'm just saying, like. I got it. You know what I mean? You know how they said Zeke stirs the drink, or the straw that stirs the drink, bro. I am the madness that stirs up, conversation. How about that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure, man. That's a good take. That is definitely a solid take, and I hope you're far from wrong. But
I hope I'm wrong too, because I love Dak as a player.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
Like, you know what? Hopefully we'll see some videos of him chopping some firewood or something. You know what
I mean, that's one of the things that we haven't seen, right? I mean,
yeah, because he's a fucking
never really-
he's an outdoorsman. He's a woodsman.
Right.
He's a man's man. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. He's never really had a huge social media presence, but that's one of the things we hadn't seen. I mean, well, I say that, but we haven't really seen it from any Cowboys players except for, Des Bryant trying to come back. But
that is true.
We really haven't seen any of those at-home workouts. Who are you throwing the ball to? I mean, I haven't seen reports of, he's working with Michael Gallup.
Or working with CeeDee Lamb since he's the rookie.
CeeDee Lamb, the new wide receiver. Yeah, the new toy. Yeah, you're right, man.
Like, and then, like I said,
but then again, why would he?
Listen, it is a conspiracy theory. It is a Bogart conspiracy theory, right? And like the conspiracy is supported by the fact that you would be able to hide this because of what's going on. Like, why isn't he throwing the ball with his rookie, or why isn't he, out there, passing the ball to his receivers, like, just working off the field, building rapport, and then he could easily be like, well, it's COVID, so I'm not doing that shit. But
right, and then he doesn't have to. I mean, he doesn't have to come in if he's not signed. If he chooses not to come in until
it's not mandatory for him at all.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
and you know what too, man? Like, it's like and other things too. Like, just more importantly, like, yes, it's gonna be Kellen Moore still. Kellen Moore is still gonna be the OC, but like, you're still gonna have a new coaching staff all together. So like, getting acclimated to this new. This new mind state, this new, a culture change essentially. Like, that's important for your starting quarterback. You know what I mean? Like, if like, you know what I mean? Like, and Uncle Jerry, he's not broke and he's not cheap. In the beginning I had this crazier theory. Like, I was like, was it because he's black? Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, are they not paying him because he's black? Like, I was like, for real, asking my homies, like, what you think, man? You think they ain't paying him because he's black? Like, they hating on the black man? And then they're like, nah, man, Uncle Jerry's invited to the cookout, man. Like, no, he wouldn't do that. And then I started thinking, he really wouldn't do that. He loves to pay his guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, he's literally thinking of him in the shower. Remember that? Do you remember that blurb that came out?
Yeah.
Jerry Jones was like, I was in the shower thinking about him. You know what I mean? Like,
no doubt.
Oh, man.
That's too funny. But no, for real, man. It's the possibility is absolutely there.
So, okay, say, I've heard cases of people having the corona for like weeks on end, right? Before they were affected. And then, being affected or infected or whatever have you, I've heard stories about people, having it for, extended periods all the way up to like a month, and then they're back. So let's say that. Say a month from now, he's finally over it. Let's just go with the max, right? From what I've read. So say a month from now, right? I wonder what the protocol is gonna be, because like a month from now, like maybe less than a month, like about a month, should be training camp. You know what I mean? Like, are they gonna allow him? Are they gonna be like, you have to be quarantined? You know what I mean? Like, then we're gonna see Tony Pollard out there with the team ones. I mean, like, we might very well see training camp open up and it's Andy Dalton under center and Tony Pollard in that backfield. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's really going to be crazy to see how that plays out, because I mean, what type of safety precautions can you take? I mean, are the players going to feel okay him coming back into the meetings and the locker rooms and all that stuff?
Yeah, like, are they going to be like are they going to be prejudice in a sense towards like people that have it, like they're lepers? You know what I mean? Like, everyone's clearing the room every time he walks.
These people got kids to go home to,
Yeah, that's true.
Some people, I'm sure their mom lives with them or something. They're probably a little older and all that stuff. I don't know, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, and it's so crazy because it's America's team. They're very polarizing. Zeke is a polarizing figure in the NFL. So it's like the fact that he has it sends shockwaves through the league. Like, you know what I mean? It starts like, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy, man. Like, it's one of those things I've been thinking about a lot. You know what I mean? Like, damn, like, just the world we're living in general, and then trying to the best of our ability, and I don't like saying crazy shit to say it, I look at things that aren't out of the realm of possibility, and it's not like I go, well, what's the craziest shit that? Because in actuality, nothing's out of the realm of possibility, right? Like, but I don't just think of the craziest shit to think of to say, like, you know, with the like maybe Dak's housing an injury or like, you know what I mean, like, you know, this, that, and the third, like, I mean, because let's be honest, like, I feel like when it comes to injuries, every player. It has the same amount of probability of getting injured as the next, and unless you're like just some super duper, maybe you have some kind of rare condition where your bone density is like extremely dense, and like you just, you're less susceptible to injuries, like something genetic, right? But other than that, that's like some superhero shit. Other than that, goddamn it, like everyone has the same probability of getting injured as the next player. So, and that's why, these contracts are important. That's why, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. I totally agree with you. I mean, and you, like you said, I mean, anybody can get hurt at any given time. Like, the right guard for the Eagles, Brandon Brooks.
Oh yeah, man, torn Achilles.
Tore his Achilles. Yeah, working out.
You're just working out, even.
Yeah, just working out.
Dang, man. I think that's kind of a precursor of what we're going to see. Like, imagine him in quarantine. Maybe he was kicking back and he's like, all right, now it's time to get back to work. And he's just hasn't been conditioning like he should. And then bam, tears his shit.
Right.
Bro, I mean, obviously we don't like to wish injuries on anyone, but you being a Cowboys fan, you know that's detrimental to Carson Wentz.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, if the question's around the corner is if I feel okay about it, hell no, man. He's a big man. I don't know if he can ever come back off that injury,
I mean, with today's type of doctors and modern science, it's possible. I mean, look at Manny Sanders. Manny Sanders was coming off a torn Achilles mid-season in 2018. He comes back 2019 balling. Like, I mean, everyone's built different. Or I could even remember Michael Crabtree coming off an Achilles, and you know what I'm saying? It was just like, Joe, he's done, and then balling. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because Achilles is like literally one of the worst. Like, when you hear that, like, you're like, oh shit, it's all bad. Like, even the Black Mamba, rest in peace. When he came back from his Achilles, people were like, he wasn't exactly the same. Like, you know what I mean? But I mean, that was over a decade ago. So it's like, when it comes to science and shit, they take leaps and bounds every year. I mean, so, I mean, still, though, he's, at the end of the day, this Brooks in particular, he's done for the year. You know what I mean? Already. There's no way he's coming back this year. And then next year, that's already in question. Like, they're probably gonna bring back Jason Peters with his old injury-prone ass, too, because he's always been shown to be, you know what I mean? But, like, bro, okay, so I'm going to do a shout out to my man, the Fantasy Fornicator. He's also a great follow. You should follow him on Instagram, Fantasy Fornicator. Right? He's an affiliate of the GMM network. I actually just dropped 2 episodes back to back with him because we went pretty like, you want to get if you know how you said you're brushing up back on your fantasy shit, bro, listen to the last 2 episodes that I put out. You know what I mean? Because we went through, we had a rankings debate. So his top 24 rankings at receiver and running back versus my top 24 at the same positions. And, we talked it out. You know what I mean? And, we made our cases. It's great listen. You know what I'm saying? And it can bring you up to speed. You know what I mean? And I'm the type, I would love it if someone was using me as a reference. I would fucking love it because I like to feel like, I'm pretty accurate at my shit. But him even more. The Fantasy Fornicator, super accurate. But anyway, so I'm going on his podcast this weekend. And, it's a bold prediction episode. And originally one of my bold predictions was Carson Wentz is going to finish as a top 3 QB in fantasy. You know what I mean? But like, yo, this really fucks up my take. You know what I mean? Like when I heard the news of Brooks. Because now I'm like, fuck, man, I don't know if I could really... Now it would be even more bold, I guess. But it's still, as much as a bold prediction is a bold prediction, it's still something that I feel is not out of the realm of possibility. Not just saying some wild shit like Like, you know what's crazy? Right now, I could say another bold prediction could be Andy Dalton will start, the season. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, no, for sure.
you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, hold on, let me write that down. Andy Dalton. I might have to go with that. You feel me? Oh, man. Okay, so check this out, my brother. Let the playmakers know, what to expect from the catch. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause I know you guys are getting back in action. You know what I mean? What should we expect, man? What do you got coming for us?
Yeah, most definitely. So actually, before I got on with you today, we actually just finished up a Wednesday, June 17th edition of our show. Just kind of going into
Gotta shoot me a link.
predictions.
Shoot me a link. I know I'm subscribed, but shoot me a link so I could chop some clips too and help promote on my page.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. I definitely will. We're getting back into it. We want to focus on just kind of getting everything steady, getting our schedule back down to how we want it. So as of right now, we're just one time a week. But I will be jumping into more of my fantasy football stuff, where I probably will just kind of be, making some of my own clips, how I was at the very beginning of all of my endeavors on this. But definitely got more stuff coming right around the corner. We're super excited to get back into it, man. I'm hyped for it. I'm ready.
Man, I'm hyped for you guys, man. Listen, as much as I try to make it look like it's big and bad and phenomenal from the outside looking in, bro, I'm still a small platform as well, and so I always want to support the guys on the rise like myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we got to work together and support each other, and I actually appreciate your guys' content. That's why I don't just bring on anybody that I think is just, they're doing a podcast, let's get them on. No, like I fuck with people where I fuck with their takes. Like even this right here, like all the cameras, or not cameras, all the microphones aside, like we would have had this same conversation if we were just talking. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure, man, for sure. Yeah, no doubt. If you would have caught me on any other day, I'd probably been sipping with you. But here we are.
Sure. Yeah, well, you know what? I'm drinking for the both of us right now. You know what I mean?
There you go.
I
man.
definitely went through like 6 shots for real. Like, and I say shots because I'm not even taking shots. I'm sipping, but I'm pouring.
Yeah.
But I'm on my 3rd glass, and I'm basically pouring 3 at a time.
Yeah, no, I get you, man. I get you. We'll definitely have to do it again, man. I really, of course, appreciate you having me on. I'm down anytime. Just give me a heads up and a show sheet, and that's all I need.
Oh yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean? The next time I bring you on, we'll definitely emphasize a little more on the fantasyism. I really just wanted to get you on just to chop it up with you, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just connect game again. You know what I mean? Like, you were. I want to say you were like the top 5. It's like when I'm looking at, like, if I remember it correctly, you were one of the first 5 features I did.
Like, oh wow! Right on.
Yeah, because I did. I went about, everything to me. I premeditate a lot of shit. Like, I'm not just flying by the seat of my pants. I'm very calculated, and like, shout out to my co-host. He also works in healthcare, so I remember, we went through the whole season. We're doing like 3 episodes a week, and then as soon as the season was done and we got into January, and we still kept recording episodes because this thing don't stop. But, and we also had a fantasy, a playoff league. And then, obviously me and my co-host were both Niner fans. So we were still, we were breaking down these playoff games and et cetera, right? But like, I remember when January came around, I was like, I was telling my co-host, his name is Steamboat Joe, the guru. I was telling my homie, the goo, I was like, hey, I'm going to start spreading our wings, bro. It's time. I'm going to start reaching out to other content creators, other people doing what we're doing. People that I've been following that I appreciate their shit. You know what I mean? I'm going to reach out, bro. And you know what I mean? That's what led me to you. That's what led me to the Fantasy Fornicator. That's what led me to Turn Up the Jets. That's what led me to Ethan and Mike's sports show. You know what I mean? And then even the bigger names that have came on, like the Schmitties of the world and even the goddamn fantasy rapper. And even though I don't really agree with their takes, that it's not like I'm only bringing on people that agree with me or I agree with them. Like, you know what I mean? I wanted to bring on people that, you know what I mean, that have that they stand by what they believe in. And then I met the Rum Boys and Justin from Clock Management or Miles Peacock or, you know what I mean? Or even the TCK pod, the Candlestick Kids podcast.
Oh, yeah. Good
very,
guys.
very
guys.
good. Very, very good podcast. Like, if you're a fantasy nerd for real and you just love motherfuckers that can break down real analysis as far as like stats and advanced stats, these are the guys, man. Like, I know you follow me, so and I constantly support those guys, man. Like anytime,
Yeah, no doubt.
I always share their posts because those motherfuckers are legit. Like, and the head of the body over there, shout out to my man Sky. He's a Niner fan, so it's like I'm partial to him, and he's just really fucking dope at what they do, man. And like or even just the Rum Boys in its entirety. Shout out to my man Robbie. You know what I mean? Like this whole quarantine has been it's a blessing in disguise. You know what I mean? Like I was able to really like it is the GMM network, and I've been emphasizing the network in GMM network. You know what I mean? And like. That's why I remember I had seen you comment or like one of my posts, and I was like, "Oh man, let me holler at Lawrence, bruh." You know what I mean? I didn't mean to holler at the homie Law. You feel me? I'm like, Mister Habanero. Damn, I see.
Close enough.
Yeah, I know. I said habanero. That's a goddamn pepper. Jaramillo. There it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Oh man, you know what I'm saying? But man, bro, thank you again for coming on, bro, and. You know what I mean? Like this. Oh, also when I asked you, right, what to expect from your podcast, right? Playmakers, he forgot to mention. Expect Bogard one day making his debut on the podcast, right? Expect it. It's coming. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I'm going to bring that madness. I'm going to bring my special brand of antics. You know what I mean?
I'm down for that, brother.
Yeah, for sure, my guy. Okay, hey, man. One more time. One more again. Let them know where they can find you, brother.
You guys can reach me on Instagram primarily at @thecatch_law. That will link you to all of my YouTube content. Definitely show some support, man. It's all free. It's all free. All you got to do is hit the follow, hit the like button, and if you like the content, share it with your people.
Hey, and as Bogard Scott Free loves to say, if it's free, it's for me. You know
That's
what I'm saying?
right.
And all the links to all his isms are gonna be in the description of this episode. Man, my man the Law. Hey man, I really appreciate you, man. Thanks again, brother.
Anytime, bro.
And you be safe out there, bro.
Yes, sir.
Peace. I'm gonna cut this thing off.